and Sass. The series talking all things skin with a side of sass. Hosted by Kelly George and Andy Paulson. Proudly sponsored by KGA Body. Hello and welcome everybody back to another episode of Skin and Sass TV. I'm Andy Paulson and
I'm Kelly George. Welcome.
Welcome. And do we have a relevant topic for today's discussion?
Yes, we do.
Today's discussion is help, COVID ruined my skin. Okay, so hands up if you've had COVID. Yeah. Oh, you had COVID?
I had COVID.
Oh, man.
I don't know how you escaped it. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
You live here.
I know. I'm like Will Smith and I Am Legend. You know what? Everyone else turns into a zombie.
So is my husband. He slept in bed with me the whole time and didn't catch it.
So weird.
And my son got it and he didn't catch it again. I'm like, well, okay.
Okay,
Whatever.
fingers crossed, hopefully. I am recovering from a cold at the moment, but it's not COVID.
I hope. Otherwise I'm going to catch it again.
That would be bad. Sorry. So, George, okay, how did COVID ruin your skin? Because your skin looks pretty good to me, but, I mean, it's been a while.
Personally, it didn't really ruin my skin.
Okay.
But hang on. No. That's because I truly believe in the lead up to when I caught COVID, just oddly enough, I was going through this really like strict regime with my skin. And so my skin was in really, really, really good condition. And when I say strict regime, I was really consistent with my vitamin C, really consistent with my vitamin A. And I guess in theory or in hindsight, what I can gather from the whole, process of events was that in the lead up to it, I was really, really good with my antioxidants and the things that you need to use to combat inflammation in the skin.
Okay.
And so there, obviously then when I got COVID, and COVID is an inflammatory disease, which can cause problems in the skin, and I'm seeing it in my patients all the time.
Right.
For me, I fortunately did not really suffer with my skin.
Okay, so you were really you preempted that inflammatory stripe.
And I guess it was because it was the festive season and I was out and about doing things, so I was trying to just make sure I had a beautiful glow. I wasn't so concerned about COVID, but worked out well for me.
So tell us for your clients then who've had COVID and said that COVID has ruined their skin. So what are you seeing?
Well, the interesting thing that I'm seeing is just like COVID. So if you know someone who's had COVID, you'll know that they tell you a variety of weird symptoms. So skin is exactly the same. So people are seeing all these random different things. So I guess we've spoken a lot on Skin and Sass about how inflammation impacts your skin. And so this is the same. We're talking an increase in rosacea, increase in acne, perioral dermatitis.
Don't talk to me about perioral dermatitis. We'll get onto that one.
Eczema. People are really struggling with eczema. But then other weird things, just like general dullness, hives. People are getting hives, but like post. So as 4, 5, 6 weeks later.
But a lot of that stuff, you think about if you get a cold and flu virus, I mean, like those post-viral things, like the cough that lingers for a long time, or just that general feeling of, what do they call it, like malaise? Yeah. When you just feel kind of run down and fatigued and just not your normal self.
Yeah, and your skin always is impacted just from when you do get a cold or flu, or even if you've just got a weird virus for a couple of days. It. Because we've said before, your skin is your largest
organ. That's right.
So if you're unwell, your skin's going to be
show. Yeah. Okay. And so you did touch on the perioral dermatitis, which I bought a prop, which Kelly laughed at me. She's like, everybody knows what a mask is, Andy. You don't need to bring a prop.
But in case you don't know what a mask is.
In case you don't know what a mask is, which is probably against the law at some point, right? Do we all have to wear them, mandated?
Yeah. Anyway, now you know what a mask is.
Now you know what a mask is. But we did touch on this in the podcast, probably in a bit more detail with Mask Me, where people were getting, pimples and breakouts, congestion, particularly around the areas where the mask is on.
In case you didn't know where the masks go.
Well, some people don't.
Can we give you the prop?
No, I'm still using the prop. God, it's a sport. Anyway,
even though we're no longer wearing masks, people are finding that they're still suffering from the effects.
Oh my goodness. I got perioral dermatitis, which is, what is it? It's a bacterial infection, it's inflammation.
Yeah, it's basically an inflammatory skin disease. It's similar to, say, eczema or
Psoriasis or-
psoriasis,
yeah, okay.
those sorts of things. But it's called perioral because it's typically found around your mouth. However, it can be very confusing because you can also get it around your eye and sometimes around your nose. So
I had it all up my chin. So just before Christmas, so my skin, it looked like it had hives. It was all over my chin and I had to take antibiotics and then it didn't go away. And so I put some steroid cream on, which I had for eczema, made it worse.
she should never have done that. Steroid cream for perioral dermatitis. And I'm sure in one of our episodes, we spoke about that.
Probably. It was a while ago.
You listen to nothing. Nothing.
Well, I listened to it at the time when you say it sometimes.
Anyway, should we get back to the script?
Okay, back to the script. I have no idea. Anyway. No,
So,
but all this...
What's the solution to the problems that people are having with their...
Don't get COVID.
So let me just take it from here. So basically what Andy was supposed to ask was how do we treat
Oh, the
all these
inflammation.
inflammatory diseases that we're
Okay,
seeing on
all
our
right,
skin as
okay,
a result
okay.
of COVID? Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So there's no fast solution, obviously, and it's actually not even rocket science. It's really, really simple. So the very first and the most important thing is diet. You have to increase your antioxidant intake. So we're talking all the colours of the rainbow in terms of your food. Pumpkin, think of the
berries.
berries. Yeah, strawberries are amazing. Green tea, up your green tea intake for sure. Resveratrol is a really important, so not too much red wine, but a little bit of red wine, a little dark chocolate, very good antioxidants.
Okay.
But then the other really important thing is if you have had COVID and you're really struggling, skin-wise, but also if your skin's still impacted, you're probably finding that your body's still impacted.
Yeah.
These things will help your whole body. Cutting back on inflammatory foods.
Okay. So
sorry,
what's that? Alcohol?
Sugar, deep fried.
Yeah,
anything.
oily stuff.
Bad food. So first things first, and as much as it's pretty boring, clean eating. You've got to clean eat.
So like home cooking, minimizing your fast food, junk food,
Fruit,
packaged
vegetables.
food, fresh,
Minimize alcohol.
whole foods.
And then, of course, we're going to move to topical. So this is where I guess my expertise comes in. So we are talking about products that are antioxidant peptide rich.
Yes.
So Jan Marini's antioxidant peptide extreme. I mean, it's
Yes,
everything.
So yeah, Jan Marini Age Intervention Peptide Extreme is my number one hero product.
Yeah.
Cannot live without it. I dip in and out of other products depending on the time of year and how much hydration my skin's needing. But this product I use all year round, and my skin I have psoriasis, I have eczema, I have sensitive skin, and it never reacts to this. It's just a beautiful product.
You just can't go wrong with it. Whether you're acne prone, whether you're aging, whether you've got pigment, it's just the best product. But vitamin C is really, really important. So obviously it's super anti-inflammatory, full of antioxidants, and really, really important. And that's one of the products that I was just going hard on in the lead up to me getting COVID, which is why I think it really didn't impact my skin. And I got sick with COVID, so theoretically my skin should have really been impacted, but I had preempted it, as we said before. Vitamin A, though, people forget that vitamin A is an antioxidant and is anti-inflammatory. Just because it gives you that sort of peeling effect, people think, oh, no, I wouldn't use that.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but if you want to regenerate your cells and kind of help your skin through that process, don't neglect the vitamin A.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, you should really be using it. So
It's interesting though, when I had, this is a bit different to COVID and general inflammation, but when I had perioral dermatitis, granted this was a GP, not my regular GP, said to me, basically don't use any skincare on top of it. So I was freaked out. I literally used nothing.
yeah, you probably want to go easy on the harsh active cleansers if they've got like a lot of salicylic acid or the acid-based ones.
So,
but a peptide or a hyaluronic acid or any kind of antioxidant, go for it.
So,
it's going to help your skin.
And when
heal.
you say vitamin A, you're talking about retinol?
I'm talking about retinol.
Yeah, okay.
Retinol, don't use it every night.
Yeah,
if you've had perioral dermatitis for sure. But if your skin's not peeling or inflamed in any way, just dull, not go hard with vitamin A.
Okay, interesting.
And then, of course, we've got our inner beauty supplements.
Yeah.
So, you would all know that I love the Beauty Chef.
Yeah,
So the Glow
me
Powder,
too.
though, is the number one thing because it's a probiotic, prebiotic. It really does reduce inflammation in the skin. I prescribe it for people who just have rosacea or eczema or even melasma because melasma is also an inflammatory triggered skin condition. So if you're using that every single day, it's definitely going to help you a lot.
Yeah, and the Beauty Chef, it's an Australian brand,
Yes.
Australian owned and developed, female brand. It's relatively affordable. It's not expensive.
It's really affordable.
Yeah.
I think it works out at about $60 every 6 weeks or something. So
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, supplements. So things like melatonin, zinc, vitamin C, actual supplements to take. Very, very good.
Interesting story. So I know I keep diverging off the script, but zinc. No, I've been seeing a naturopath, and so they actually did blood tests to see what I was deficient in and gave me various things, and then, had a checkup. And I was talking about how I was struggling to fall asleep, and she said, "Oh, are you really sensitive to light?" I'm like, "Oh, yes, I'm really sensitive to sound. Like, are you somebody that lays there in bed and like the slightest little light of a light switch, remember the light switch?
I do.
Or the aircon light will keep you awake?" And I was like, "Yes." So she goes, "That is like signs of a zinc deficiency."
I better take some zinc.
And so I started taking zinc, and honestly, I've seen the difference.
Wow.
So not just for sleep, but if you have, if you're just a very sensitized person to things like light and sound, apparently it can be a sign of a zinc deficiency.
There you go. Nothing to do with COVID, but...
Well, but I'm just saying, it's interesting because so a lot of the time you think you treat things from the outside in with the skin. But a lot of the time, not just your skin, but a lot of stuff is related to your gut health and your inner health.
Which is why the supplements are really, really important.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with any kind of skin condition, but particularly an inflammatory disease that's affected every cell within your body.
Yeah. And so the Beauty Chef also, as well as the Glow Powder, they have these beautiful elixirs, drinks. Do you think those
The antioxidant,
Okay.
I would go, if I was really suffering from the effects of COVID, post-COVID, not during COVID, but obviously weeks afterwards, I would go the Glow and the antioxidant.
Yeah. And the antioxidant is the one that's like a berry flavour, a strawberry flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Gorgeous. We've spoken about how your skin is impacted post-COVID, but I guess the people out there who are watching or listening who've had COVID and they're feeling better, but they're wondering, do they have to wait a certain amount of time before they can have injectables?
They do. They do. So it's actually really interesting. I've noticed with my anti-wrinkle clients, all of a sudden, all these clients that never used to bleed on me were bleeding a lot.
Oh, really?
Proper blood, sort of really thin blood pouring out. And I'm like mopping it up. And they're like, "Am I bleeding?" And I'm like, "A lot more than usual."
Right, okay.
And when I would ask all the questions, have you taken any fish oil? Have you taken any Nurofen aspirin? Did you drink alcohol last night? No. We came to the conclusion that they had had COVID in the last 3 months. And so now I can pick it straight away. If someone starts bleeding, I'm like, "When did you have COVID?" And they're like, "Oh, how did you know?" And I'm like,
interesting.
So there's some things happening that I guess over time scientists will start to learn more and more about when they're not so focused on the acute disease concerns. So dermal filler, if you've had COVID, I say I won't inject dermal filler for 6 weeks after your last symptom. Anti-wrinkle, I say 2 weeks after your last symptom. PRP, I say 6 weeks after your last symptom. Brow tattooing, anything that we're actually really sort of invasively going into the skin, 6 weeks after your last symptom.
Okay.
And so I don't mean after when you were no longer testing positive, I mean after your last symptom.
Okay.
So if you, like me, were one of those people that sort of the symptoms lingered and you were still getting back pain or headaches or the fatigue.
A few weeks later.
It has to be when that finishes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing to note while we're chatting about it is booster shots. So no dermal filler, 2 weeks either side of a
booster shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And same thing with anti-wrinkle?
No, anti-wrinkle's okay, but I say not in the few days afterwards.
Okay.
Mainly because you're not going to feel well, and we don't ever inject you if you don't feel well.
Okay. All right. Well, look, that was helpful. I think the key there is really to let your injector know if you've had COVID.
Please do tell.
And then they can make a decision as to whether it's been long enough.
Yeah, and what we find is some people are a bit funny about saying that they've had COVID or even saying, because that whole sort of anti-vax drama, but at the end of the day, it's part of your medical history, and we get your medical history and everything else. So just remember, we are doctors and nurses, and we're asking for a real reason.
Yes. Okay. So be honest. If you've got any concerns, speak to your injector, speak to your doctor. And in terms of fighting the after effects of COVID with your skin, anti-inflammatory all the way.
Antioxidants.
Do it. Okay, guys. Well, take care. Thanks for joining us again on Skin and Sass TV. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.